Hey, good morning everyone. It's Jonathan from Motorcycology. If you're new here, welcome. I very much appreciate you being here. And for the returning viewers, welcome back and thank you once again for your continual support. As always, it's greatly appreciated and it helps keep people encouraged to produce content and to develop new and interesting content as well, and I appreciate that. So today is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful Friday morning here just outside Ottawa, Ontario. So what I'll be doing on this trip, which is the vlog, is I am driving into downtown Ottawa. So I'll be showing you the route that I normally take, and a lot of it is going to be highway traffic, so normal freeway traffic, and then turning off and into the downtown core, and then passing by what is a world famous landmark. It's Parliament Hill in Ottawa, and that is the government offices where the government of Canada resides, including the Prime Minister. So it's a historic building. It's definitely a landmark. It's a tourist attraction, and if you ever do come to Ottawa, you really need to go downtown and walk around. Ottawa is a very culturally rich place with lots of things to see. Great hotels. It's bilingual, so it's one of the few cities in Canada that is truly bilingual. You'll hear people speaking English, and you're going to hear people speaking French as their normal day-to-day language. So it's kind of interesting. For me, I was born on the west coast of Canada, lived out there for many years in Victoria, British Columbia. That is not a bilingual town, and if it were to be bilingual, it's unlikely that it would be French. The important languages around there are Asian languages because it's on the west coast, and there's a lot of Asian communities that live in the west coast. Certainly very limited French, or what we call Francophone communities, but here in central Canada it's very popular and very normal to be bilingual. So if you're from here, it's normal to be bilingual. French for me is a second language, mais je peux parler français et faire un blog en français si vous voulez. For me, it's not that difficult, but I'm not like super competent in it. I have a level B, which means that you're functional in reading, writing, listening comprehension, and obviously speaking. And you know, it's a great opportunity to always learn a second language, but here in Ottawa you can practice it. So anyway, getting on to where I am right now, I'm coming onto the on-ramp onto Highway 7, which is a twinned highway to facilitate traffic going into Ottawa. If it were just a single lane highway, it wouldn't work. So here we go, we're going to be accelerating, and right now I'm in fourth gear. I put my indicator on. I'm watching out for those lines in the road to cross because they are crazy. And now I'll do a shoulder check or two and move into the lane. Cancel my indicator lights, and now I'm in fifth gear and going around almost 70 miles an hour. And now I've put it into sixth gear, and I'm just going to be cruising in on this highway, which is going to branch into a larger highway that is going to take me into Ottawa from the west end of the city. So stick around with me for the ride. It's going to be probably in total about 35 minutes. I may edit some things out of this vlog to make the vlog a little shorter, but other than that, enjoy the beautiful, absolutely gorgeous July 19th 2024 weather. It's not hot this morning. It's a very pleasant temperature, and it's not predicted to go up that much over the the day. So let's keep on track of that. So as far as motorcycling, I'm going to talk about some of the motorcycle gear that is useful. Obviously, you need a helmet, and the helmets, you want to make sure, obviously, that they are a nice, tight fit. And different brands have different sizes that they would label as small, medium, large, extra large. So it's really important to try them on and make sure that they fit. You want to have a nice, snug fit so that when you're going fast like this, your helmet isn't riding up and down your head. It stays on nice and snugly and it feels comfortable. It doesn't give you a head squeeze or a brain squeeze over time, because having a headache when you're driving on a motorcycle I don't think would be that pleasant at all. Here's a car coming up. I can speed up slightly here. So the helmet's important. So this is a tricky one. I have a car on my left. This guy's merging in. I'll move over, give him some room, accelerate past, shoulder check and come back in. Yeah, I prefer to have darker visors, so they're very dark looking in, but when you're wearing them, they're like a nice pair of sunglasses, so they're easy on your eyes. I have a mirrored shield as well, which is tinted from the inside looking out, and that's not too bad either. I occasionally wear that, not typically on this helmet, but I can switch them up. I like this look with the dark face shield and kind of like the gear that I have on right now. And I have a clear shield, of course, which is useful depending on what the weather conditions and the visibility is. I don't use the clear shield that much. And then I have an amber shield, which is a shield that I put on at nighttime, and for some reason the amber plastic shield just makes it look a little bit brighter at nighttime, so it's useful in that area. So for this particular helmet I've got the option of switching off 4 shields as well. I am carrying a laptop in my backpack, a change of clothes and a few other things, a small lunch and a drink. I'm using a hard shell motorcycle backpack. I don't use it that often, but if I'm going to be doing a reasonable highway trip, I wear that. It's specially made for motorcycle riders. It's reflective, or it has reflective strips on the back, and it's a little bit more streamlined, so when you're riding, you don't get your backpack blowing all over the place. So it's a nice flat backpack. Here where I live, they're retailing for about $260 for one of these backpacks. They're also, I'm not going to say that they're waterproof, but because of the hard shell, if you do get caught out in the rain, it's going to keep your gear dry. The other interesting thing about how it's designed, it has an area where you can put an additional shield in there, so it's got a pocket and it fits the curve of the shield really well, so that's super convenient. I'm just going to pass by some of these guys. And right now everyone's going very fast, way faster than we're supposed to go. But it's the morning rush for people heading into work, I think. This motorcycle has enough acceleration that it's very useful in traffic. It can give you that little bit of instant acceleration to help you safely overtake, opposed to wondering if your motorcycle has the capabilities of doing that. So I just passed this guy, he's passing me again. It would be nice if everybody did a consistent speed, but I don't think that happens that often. I gotta pass this guy, shoulder check the mirrors again, and fly out into the passing lane. It is getting a little windy inside my helmet, so normally, although I didn't do it today, normally I put in some foam ear defenders, the ones that you can kind of roll up and just put in your ear. I find those just minimize the wind that goes through the helmet. And I can live with the wind in the helmet, but you could get, or you can risk some sort of temporary ear damage or maybe permanent ear damage. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know for sure, but even after this ride in here, when I get off and take my helmet off, it may feel kind of like I've been at a concert or something like that. It's not that loud, but I always carry ear defenders in my motorcycle jacket pocket so that I always have them on hand. And I've got an extra set in my storage compartment of this motorcycle. So that works for me. So that's a little bit about helmets. They've got different vents on them that you can open depending on the weather. Nice to open them once in a while and you get some cooling in there. So I just opened my two top vents and I can actually feel the cooler air coming down on the top of my head, which is really nice. It's got another vent here that you can open and close, and some have side vents as well. So picking a helmet is really important, and for me it's comfort, fit, and style. So you may notice that a lot of the stuff that I have is a bright red color, partially because I like the red color, and the other reason is people can see me that way, and for me that's important. Other people may have all black biking gear. That's fine, but you just have to dress for safety, and being red and white, people tend to notice that a little bit better than wearing all black stuff. So for those of you who haven't ridden a motorcycle or not licensed but considering it, think about things like that, whether or not you're going to set yourself up to be safe and seen when you're motorcycling, or if you want to have a stealth look. If you decide to be a stealth rider or have a stealth dark look, then be very careful out there, and I think you're a lot safer in a group of motorcycle riders than being an individual rider. And then the other thing as a motorcycle rider is to really resist the temptation to do crazy things on your motorcycle. It's so easy to think that you want to go super fast or do super crazy things. That's when trouble starts to happen. So safety first, and then if you can, enjoy it. I'm having an okay time riding my motorcycle right now. It's fun, it's relaxing. My heart rate is probably only in the 50s. So now I'm changing lanes to head into the main highway here. If you can see on the highway lanes, there's a lot of oil tracked down in the tracks, which I always I'm cautious about because that makes the road slippery. So I'm going to reduce my speed a little bit slower than I normally would to come into this banking corner here. In the wintertime, it's not uncommon to see cars veer off into that field when they're doing this corner because we get a lot of snow here, snow and ice on the road. Cars come into this corner too fast and end up going straight off into the ditch. So it can happen in a motorcycle as well if you don't manage that curve properly at the right speed. So here we are getting onto the main highway. This highway is going to take me all the way from the west end of Ottawa into a turnoff to go downtown Ottawa, which is northern Ottawa. This highway is an east-west highway, so I'm coming in on the west side and heading east right now. Coming up on my right soon, for those of you that follow any NHL hockey or have been to Ottawa and gone into any major concerts, we have our Canadian Tire Center. It's a sports center used for concerts and entertainment, including NHL hockey for the Ottawa Senators. So I live very close to the arena, which is great. periodically in the winter I'll go up and watch an NHL game. The ticket prices for the Ottawa Senators is reasonable and affordable, and sometimes when the really, really good NHL teams come in, like the Toronto Maple Leafs that are popular here, Stanley Cup winners, some teams from the States, they adjust the ticket prices and make them a little bit more expensive. They put a premium cap on them, but I usually don't go to those games, and I'll watch them on TV or something like that. We just passed Terry Fox Drive, or a sign for Terry Fox Drive, a famous Canadian young cancer person who ran across Canada in the 80s with one leg for cancer awareness. He died halfway into his trip. So, but that being said, he got a lot of awareness towards cancer in Canada, and is a Canadian icon and hero to some extent. So on the right is the Canadian Tire Center. You can see some logos on there, including TSN and Bell. It's a very nice arena. It's not new, but it's a nice arena. So because it's Friday morning and it's early, it's only 20 after 7 in the morning, the traffic is at a minimal. If I were doing the same trip midweek, the traffic congestion is a lot more. Over on the left, the second lane over is a high volume lane. They allow motorcycles and cars that have at least 2 passengers in it. So when it's super busy, I'll go into the HOV lane and motorcycle on that. But today it's light traffic, so I'm just going to stay with the traffic. And right now I'm going, I think we're all going about almost 70 miles an hour heading into Ottawa. On this motorcycle, it's very smooth, very comfortable ride for a short trip. I like it. What else can I talk about with motorcycle gear? Motorcycle jackets. I have
You could see that my microphone just dropped out of my helmet when I moved my hand there, so I'm going to continue on here. So I was talking about, or about to talk about, motorcycle jackets. So I have a variety of them, at least 3 that I actively use. This one is one of my favorite ones because it's nice and bright, and I'm going to talk about, it's nice and bright but not too loose as well. So if you're fitting for a motorcycle jacket, you don't want it to be too tight because that will restrict your range of motion. But at the same time, you don't want it too loose, or when you're going at faster speeds like this, it's going to blow around all over the place. So you have to find that happy balance. As far as padding is concerned, this one has pads on the shoulders and the elbows, and then one that goes down the spine and kind of gets broader up near the shoulders. And it's made of this material that is like a foam, but if you hit it or if it drops, it becomes instantly very hard when it's hit. So it's perfect for protection. As far as vents, most motorcycle jackets are vented. This one you don't actively see the vents, but where I just pointed to on my elbows on the inside is a material where air can flow through, and it's really important to get a jacket that is vented. So sometimes it's very hot with all this motorcycle gear on, so having the ability to vent it when you're moving is super important. One of my jackets has zippers on the front, kind of across the chest, and goes down vertically to, halfway to my waist, and you can open up those zippers and get fresh air in. So they're usually vents that are screened and totally perfect for motorcycle riding. So here we go. We're continuing on this highway here, going about between 65 and 75 miles an hour. Staying safe in the middle lane here and just moving in. Shortly we'll be heading into downtown Ottawa, and I'll show you that. Anyway, here we are. We're heading into downtown Ottawa, and I've been talking about various things with motorcycle gear and things like that, including the jackets. Here I am getting set up to find whatever lane that I need to get into in order to take the off-ramp into the city. So that's what I'm looking for here. Once again, it is about 7:30 in the morning. The sun is coming from the west right into my eyes here, so it's a little bit annoying when you have to drive in from the west end to the east end of this city. And guess what? After work, it's the same thing. You're heading east and the sun is going down, so you often get the sun in your eyes on the way in and the way out. So in some regards, that is a little bit less desirable. So, you know, when you're riding, I chose the middle lane here. I was talking about different tracks to be in on the highway here, and it really doesn't matter as long as you pick one. I tend to always go in the left tire track of most of the lanes when I'm riding, and I'll do that on the middle lane. So here I am, I've moved into the almost far right exit level, so I'll be exiting this highway pretty shortly and then doing a left-hand turn to head north, and that will bring me into the city. So I'm getting myself in position here to get ready to go down the off-ramp, and that's going to be on my right. I'll be going down the off-ramp and then turning a left at the bottom and swinging on to a street called Kent Street, and that is a north-south street that is going to take me all the way into the downtown core of Ottawa. And have a look around downtown Ottawa. You'll notice that there's not a lot of large, you know, classic office buildings or skyscrapers. Years ago in Ottawa, they established a height limit for buildings. So I don't know what that limit is, but it doesn't seem too high. So it's really rare, at least in downtown Ottawa, that you're going to see the traditional high-rises that you'd see in larger cities. So I'm just hanging around here at the light. I took it out of first gear, put it in neutral, and just taking a little bit of time to shake out the arms and the back, and that's usually a good thing. So here I go, moving left here, and now it's going to be a straight ride all the way down to an east-west street that is in furthest north in Ottawa, that if you went any further, you're into the Ottawa River. Anyway, this street's called Wellington Street. It's a east-west street, and that's about as far as you can get within the city of Ottawa as far as going north. So I'm just heading down that way. I'll be here in a couple minutes. And one thing that I find really rare in this video is I'm literally getting all the green lights on the way in. So it could have been synced up that I'm getting all the red lights, or a combination, but as I'm driving down here, I'm thinking, wow, this is really good. I'm getting all the green lights along the way, and that really helps out. So I've been down this road in midweek, and it's totally full with cars at this time period. So really lucky on a Friday morning heading into work. And as you know, with post-pandemic, there's a lot of people that haven't returned to the workforce. So that basically keeps things more open than not. Or what I've found is people are working, 2 or 3 days in the office, and then they're working 2 or 3 days at home per the week. So that really reduces the amount of people that are in work. So now we're right into the downtown core, and that's about the height of the buildings. So they're all topped off at a single height. One thing that I did notice is generally, because they're short buildings, they have pretty large bases, so they're wide as far as their footprint, but they don't go up very high. So, I guess it's kept the city from not looking like it's a super, super big city, but Ottawa is a city of over 1 million people. So not saying that they all work in the core, but it's a city that has 1 million people. So turning right here on a street called Wellington Street, this is heading into the classic tourism area of Ottawa. And up on my left, we're going to be going by the Canadian Parliament buildings. So this is where the government of Canada does its business. So they're old buildings. They've gone through many iterations. Back in the day, they used to be black with soot. They've just gone through an extensive modification and cleaning up them, a multi-million-dollar project that is taking several years to do. But the goal is to restore these, plus a few modern features with them. Most of the modern features are not going to be visible from the outside, but they're all going to be available inside. And they have some open areas that they're now covering with domes, so that it's going to be like an inside courtyard as well. So here we are. Here's the Parliament buildings. This is the world famous image that you would see of the Canadian Parliament buildings, showing the Canadian flag. That Canadian flag is flown only once per day, and then it's given to government officials or ex-military people that have earned the right to be presented with a flag of Canada. So that's about the most important flag in Canada, is the one that flies on top of that tower that's in the background. So very precious commodity to get that flag, and I believe there's almost a 7-year wait list for that flag. So I'm waiting here, just getting ready to advance. What you're going to see on my right, or on the left as we go by, is the Canadian War Memorial. This is the War Memorial that represents a memorial for all Canadians nationally. So it's the National Cenotaph and Memorial. You'll see it on TV during our Remembrance Day ceremonies on the 11th of November. So it's coming up here in just a sec behind the trees. There it is. It's a lot bigger in real life, and it also has the unknown soldier in there as well. And now we're coming around. I'm getting really close to getting to my destination here, getting ready to make a right turn, and it's semi-challenging. You'll notice that there's a gentleman up here on a bicycle, so I'm really cautious not to cut this person off when I do my right turn. So look safe. I'm doing a right turn, and up ahead at the next set of lights I will be doing a left turn. And there's a really interesting building up there on the left, a glass building. It's the Government of Canada Conference Centre, and the outside has been made 100% with triangular shaped pieces of glass. Like, I don't know if every single triangle is different, or if they used the same shape of triangle and just managed it that way, but it's really interesting, and it's kind of got this round look to it. So you're going to have a really close look as I go around this corner here. So like most of the time when you're in urban areas, you're doing a lot of starting and stopping. Great place to learn the throttle clutch mechanisms, and also how to, you know, adjust your speed to go as slow as possible. There's that building with all the triangle rear glass. It's really cool. And I'm getting ready to go into some underground parking for the day. And unfortunately, because it's downtown, I'm paying premium for parking. It's like $20 a day, which is not too bad. I mean, if I were to take the bus and the LRT downtown, it's going to be at least $10 for transportation tickets. So in the parking lot here, a little bit dark with my visor on. I'm just waiting here. There it is. It's open, and then I'll go in. And I decided I'm going to go up to the 3rd floor, so I'm going to take my time. This is all on a pretty reasonable incline, so once again, it's a good place to learn how to feather that wet clutch, which is on, you know, using your left hand, and then also use your acceleration or throttle appropriately so that you can make it through these parking lots at parking lot speeds. So as far as motorcycle handling and operation, it's a skill that people have to learn over time. Once you have it, just like a lot of things, it's not a very big deal. You've got it. The more you ride a motorcycle, the more you get to practice it. So it's not super, super difficult. It's a little bit intimidating at first to learn. Anyway, I'm getting ready to get to my stall that I'm going to pick. I want to thank everyone here for sticking around and watching these videos. I really appreciate it. Your support is awesome. If you feel like subscribing, that's great. I appreciate it. And I'm almost here. I'm going to be pulling into the slot here. And guess what? Thanks for being here, and hope to find you right back here next time.